Hello, hello, and welcome. How's it going? Charles, Beth, Ali, welcome, welcome. Lisa, Barry, hey, what's going on? Barry is in the house. Hello, Robert. Welcome. This is awesome. You guys are here. Beautiful, innovative people, beautiful souls, beautiful CEOs, chiefs, honchos, leaders, business leaders. Welcome, Kevin. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes, waiting for some folks to get in. And so if you're here, let's get used to you're not on camera. You can chat with me. So let's just see if that works. In the chat area, type in where you're coming in from and what kind of business you're in. Let's all get acquainted. Uh, in the chat, yeah, so in the chat, there should be participants, chat, and offer in the upper right-hand corner. So in the chat area, hello, Christy, welcome. What's going on? Christy, Sam, type in the chat, where are you coming in from and what is your business? We're going to talk today about some things. I mean, I have seen the future, and I think you guys, some of you have as ready. We're going to talk about 2029 sales tactics, and that is not a typo. Really, the future is already here. It's just not equally distributed. And so we're going to try to distribute it right here on this masterclass today. Kevin is from California, cryotherapy, fantastic. Sam, Philly, telecom, wonderful. Beth, Pennsylvania, telecom, wonderful. Type in the chat where you're coming in from. Hello, Anya. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes. Want some folks to get your coffee on. This is a master class. This is a very highly interactive, thought-provoking. I'm going to shock you. You're going to rethink what you think you know. And so I am grateful to you, but I'm also warning you, you will not be the same at the end of this experience. So this is a participatory, active experience, and I'm really excited for you to have these breakthroughs. Welcome, Lisa Laporte, this week in Tech Podcast Network. Wonderful. Tony, North Jersey Telecom. Anthony, Tony, North Jersey. Welcome, welcome. So we've got Anya, Rachel, Beth, Christy, Sam, Kevin, Robert. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's get started. You guys are on time. So, we're going to be talking about the future and how it is here now and what you can do to tap it using GPT in particular. We're going to be talking about your core messaging today and helping save you from this tragedy of not being able to see the blind spots. Like this happens, doesn't it? Hope this doesn't happen to you. We just really can't see what's going on. Or when your solution, your innovative solution that you're selling is confused with those that are nothing like it. It really is like the worst kind of headache. Or if you're really can't put into words exactly what your solution is, what that value is in 12 words or less, or maybe even 3 words. What is your solution in 3 words? So, all of that is tying into what we're talking about today, which is the 2029 sales tactics. And this is very much future focused and how you can achieve the really amazing accelerated growth now instead of waiting for the future. And we're going to be talking about the 5 CEO shifts that you need to make so that you can conquer your category, win that category that you can create and accelerate growth right now using AI in particular. We're going to be talking today about co-intelligent marketing and how you can create a co-intelligent marketer. And we're going to be talking about CMOs and firing your CMOs and working with a fractional CMO and why that's better. We're going to be talking about how clarity is power, how, if you look at the paid advertising that you're doing, most people report that paid ads are not profitable. And that's because what you're showing to people when they arrive isn't capturing their imagination. And capturing imagination isn't about telling a clever or funny or cute or sexy story. it's about having a clear strategy. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. That's why great marketing is about your business strategy. We're going to be talking today about how, if your homepage is in love with your precious solution, instead of your customer success, it is a huge repellent to your business. And so I want to honor you for taking time to work on your business in the chat. I want to give you guys big love here for coming to this masterclass because I know that you're taking this time with me in your business to take a really clear look at what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you can improve it to grow your sales, amplify your marketing, and be a lot more efficient in getting the business that you deserve. So I want to honor you for that. I also want to say something like surprise, surprise. If your hype and brag marketing hasn't been working, if the money that you're spending on marketing or the marketers you're working with is not turning into sales, surprise, surprise. And we're going to dive into why that's not working today. And if you've been disappointed by the marketing you're getting out of your marketer, have you been? Give me, I don't know, give me a six in the chat if you've been a little disappointed by the marketing that you've gotten from marketers. Just type in the six. Give me a six in the chat. Yeah. And give me also a seven in the chat if you've been a little bit disappointed by the marketing content you're getting out of ChatGPT, and that's even ChatGPT 4. And give me a seven in the chat there. And we're going to be talking about how you can really practice sales tactics and marketing tactics as if it is 2029. Because I can promise you that in 2029, the things that I'm talking about today, every business is going to be doing this. And by 2030, there are going to be two types of businesses. There's going to be businesses using AI and businesses out of business. And to that point, prompt engineering is dead. And we're going to show you today what you need to be doing instead, and how your best sales presentation is not your sales presentation, it's actually your homepage. And rebranding your website, making it pretty, is really going to do nothing for sales unless you do make these 5 shifts that we're going to be talking about today. So just type in the chat here, if you think about the innovation that you're selling and all your ideal prospects becoming customers, what do you think is standing in the way? Type in the chat. What do you think is standing in the way? And if you want to, type in the chat where you're coming in from as well. And Amar, we've got Beth, Christy, Sam, Barry, Kevin, Robert, Anthony, Lisa, Beth. Wonderful. Type in the chat, what is standing in the way of your innovation getting in the hands of your ideal prospects and customers? Kevin says education and money, fear and price. Well, other podcast networks suck. Lisa, love that. Give you a thumbs down for other podcast nature networks suck. Awareness and price. So this is what I believe stands in the way of that. And I think it's your message, because we're dealing with markets that are flooded with messages. And if your message isn't clear, it's not going to cut through that noise. So let's get into this here. The 5th shift that we're going to get to at the end will only work once you've made the first 4 shifts. And so that's why it's really important for you to stay till the end of this, because it'll make a lot more sense to you. And it's going to include GPT. So GPT is like an apprentice marketer that has been trained on billions and billions of marketing words from the 2010s. Type in the chat. You ever hear of Enron before? Remember Enron? GPT has been trained on marketing from Enron and Theranos and all the companies that failed as well, and where they're using language like game changers in their messaging. And I can promise you that actual game changers do not have game changers in the headline for sure. I've had the privilege of working with CEOs that have made all these shifts and have seen what it does for their business, for their sales growth. And I'm going to be sharing with you specific examples of how they've done it today, step by step. So the masterclass today is on 2029 sales tactics, and I can promise you the things I'm showing you now will be done by every company by, I think, 2027, not even 2029. That's like most companies will be doing it by 2027, and I believe you can be doing it today. So the ground rules, this is not for spectators. If you're here just to spectate, this is not for you. Success loves speed and action. Ground rule number two, I will challenge you. By engaging in this masterclass today, you will not be able to look at your homepage or speak your sales message the same again. That's going to happen. I can promise you that. There won't be a real replay, and there will be giveaways at the end for participants. Three giveaways. One, a 16-part magnetic messaging framework, step by step, that shows you what the sections need to be on your homepage. That I would say the top 1,000 business to business sites are using this framework. I would say they have most of the elements of this framework, and you'll get that at the end of this masterclass. They're earning hundreds of millions of dollars using this framework. The second thing you're going to get are the 12 essential sales conversations. So if you look at any deal that you've sold in the last 5 years, they have had these 12 conversations. And if you missed one of them, it's likely that you didn't close the deal. Welcome, Lisa. Welcome, Vijita. And welcome. I'm glad you're here. Type in the chat where you're coming in from and what kind of business you're in. And this is not a spectator sport. This is a participatory thing. So type in the chat here. So the third giveaway is we're going to give you a GPT link at the end. It's a homepage messaging evaluator that's going to look at your homepage and give you step by step what's missing, what needs to be changed according to the magnetic messaging framework, which I developed. And I developed it through I'll show you exactly how it was developed today by companies that are actually using it, earning hundreds of millions of dollars. So I will not pitch you in this masterclass. This is a pitch-free event, no pitches. At the end, I will be offering 5 CEOs an opportunity to book a free marketing and sales enablement strategy session with me and my team if you qualify. So that's going to be offered at the end. Does that sound fair to you? Does that sound fair? Give me a yes or a heck yes in the chat. Christy, you bet. Sam, Lisa, Kevin, challenge away. Omar, looks like gloves are off, challenge accepted. So I'm going to be a bit harsh. I'm going to be sharp. It's because I'm from New York, whatever. But type in the chat here, who is your ideal customer? Let's put our virtual hands around them. Let's give them a big hug. Type them in the chat. Who are they? Because how well you understand your customer is your biggest competitive differentiator. So type in the chat, who is your ideal customer? Let's get focused on who they are. So if you're here, it's likely because you're selling an innovation to those people and you're revolutionizing something for those people in that industry. If that's a yes, give me a 1 in the chat. Give me a 1 in the chat if this is you. Christy, Lisa, uh, great. Anya, Chief Risk Officer, wonderful. Kevin, people seeking recovery, pain relief, great. Ollie, small business owners in the insurance, legal, awesome. Okay, so this sounds like Amar, Anya, Vegeta, this is you. Awesome. If that's not you, maybe you shouldn't be here. So type in the chat. You should be selling, and if you're a CEO, business leader, and you're in this masterclass, you should be selling an innovation. One, you should be revolutionizing something for those people who you're helping. So give me a 1 in the chat. I'm surprised to only see 1. So Sam, it sounds like a 2. So you're not that. Okay. So you may be revolutionizing something, but you're not selling an innovation. Maybe so. Christy, give me a 1 in the chat. This is not a spectator sport. I need you to participate. Okay. So bad news here, Anthony. Well, bad news says who? And I don't mean to be sharp, but the fact is, this is according to us that we're selling an innovation. So this is a fundamental shift that we're going to be getting into today. But let me start. I am Greg Rosner. I am the CEO and fractional CMO for several companies, for actually 4 companies at the moment. Our agency offers 90-day sprints. I'm the CEO of Pitch Kitchen. I have developed or sold $35 million of enterprise software and services, and I started Pitch Kitchen in 2017 from really looking at how shitty most marketing is and how marketing really failed me and my team in selling. We have developed more than 3,000 websites, sales presentations, messaging frameworks that have earned hundreds of millions of dollars. We've seen the pattern of what works, what doesn't work. I'm going to be sharing with you all these patterns today, and especially the secret sauce on the 5th shift around using GPT. We've also we've helped companies raise hundreds of millions of dollars through better pitch decks as well. And so, uh, I wrote a book. Actually, this is pre-sales in August. It's called Start with the Problem: How to Grow Sales and Lead Your Category in a Market That's Already Flooded with Solutions. And you guys will get an email about this pre-launch. Anyway, who this is for. Hello, Rich. Welcome. This is for CEOs and business leaders who are bringing innovation to their customers, CEOs committed to their vision, business leaders of early stage or growth stage companies stuck between 2 to 75 million, CEOs whose success depends on prospects changing, getting them to change, and business leaders who are able to invest time and money into their business. So if this is not you, feel free to drop out of this masterclass. There's nothing here for you. This is who this is for. My promise to you in the next 45 minutes is how to nail your sales message, even if your solution is sophisticated, complex, needs to be demoed. How to turn your homepage into a home run for perfect buyers, even if your prospects weren't even looking for a solution. And why it's game over for most marketing playbooks, especially the ones you're seeing now coming out of ChatGPT, and what you need to do instead, how you can turn that around. Play by the 2029 playbook, which everyone will be playing by, but you're going to play by it much faster. How to attract ideal customers into buying conversations and lead your category, even if they've never heard of your solution. And how to use AI correctly to create a torrent of 100% on brand content without hallucinations or without fancy prompting that are hit or miss. Hello, Naomi. Hello, Rich. Welcome. This is my promise to you. So welcome. Type in the chat where you're coming in from. If you're coming into this, we got Naomi, Rich, Tim, Kent, Mike, Vegeta, Amar, Beth, Sam Barry, Lisa. Awesome. Welcome. And so type in the chat where you're coming in from and also what business you're in, who your ideal customer is. Feel free to put in the chat your LinkedIn profile as well for other folks so they can see the CEO business leader innovation that you're bringing to the market. So let's get into these 5 shifts. But first, is this you? Is this you? Where your solution is absolutely amazing. Your customers love you, but you and your sales reps are working really hard explaining why they should care, why they should buy it. It really should be a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to you, but they're using a lot of brains to figure out why they should buy it now. You may have a marketer doing a shit ton of marketing, but it isn't turning into sales. And I have literally walked on the graves of, I think, 4 CMOs in the last month, and they're either leaving or they're being fired because they're playing by the old playbooks that do not work anymore. The game has completely changed. We're going to be talking about what the new game is and how to do it today. You've asked GPT to write you a blog, a post marketing, and it was just rubbish, or it needed so much cleanup that it wasn't very useful. A lot of your demo meetings end in no sales, even 6 months later. You've read all these really great books like This is Marketing from Seth Godin, Building a Story Brand from Donald Miller, Gap Selling from Keenan. You know the formula, you know what it is. But if you look at your website, you look at your sales presentation, your proposal, your social media, it isn't reflected. What you know is not reflected in that. Then you haven't made these shifts, and we're going to get through them today. If your sales reps that you're hiring are afraid to hire because they're not on the same page, they're telling different stories. If you pull them aside and just ask them what the company does, you're getting different pitches from them. Some are saying we're the best, some are saying we're the only. Everyone is telling a different story. Or if you're spending money on website development, a social media person, a PPC ads, a graphics person, but you seem to be missing a single, easy to tell, compelling story that gets your ideal customers enrolled, excited about making the change, then you haven't made these shifts that we're going to be talking about today. If your sales presentations are filled with content that look like this, or if your homepage has words on it like this, like creating innovative workflow technologies that drive what in the name of God knows what is this company, WTF, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, are they talking about? If you've got language, words on your site that GPT is happy to give to you that self-ascribes the unified solution, the innovation, the best in class, unleash the power of, the future of, all this happy horse shit that doesn't do anything for your business, for your sales, you haven't made these shifts. If you train your GPT on invisible marketing, you will lose sales. If your slides decks are a Franken deck or your website's a Franken site, that often happens, it just grows over time, but really doesn't help you convert. If you're producing lots of case studies and ROI calculators and how it works videos, and they aren't helping you convert, if you believe that your sales messaging can be simple, but you just don't know how to get there because you've got a complicated sales process, your solution is very sophisticated, every customer is unique, I've got good news for you. And the good news is that those are symptoms. Those are symptoms of the fact that the real problem is you have not made these shifts, these 5 shifts. The 5th shift is going to be around the 2029 tactic that you should be using and can be using today. You have not made these shifts. So the good news is once you make these shifts, you're going to have complete confidence in that every dollar you spend on marketing, because it's going to come back in sales, you will lead your category, accelerate qualification, close more deals. Your leadership team and the team that you trust to grow your business will be fully aligned. You'll be able to create tons of 100% on brand content, like a month's worth of content in an afternoon. Um, Everywhere without hiring anyone new. You'll be able to attract ideal prospects showing up predisposed to buy in your pipeline. These are all the great things that are going to happen once you make these shifts. So I'm really excited that you're here. I love you guys, and this is the time to dive in. So if you're ready to dive in and jump in with both hands, have this chat with me, go through these 5 shifts, give me a heck yes in the chat. Give me a heck yes in the chat if you are ready. All right, we got Christy, Lisa, Amar, Ali, Kevin, Beth. Okay, Hart, I love you guys. Naomi, Kent. All right, this is a future focused, and the future is here now. All right, let's do this. The first shift you need to make is to stop selling your product and to start leading a movement, to lead a movement. Now, what do you think I'm talking about here by leading a movement? What does that mean? So many of you said earlier that you're selling an innovation. Are you selling an innovation? And although I pushed back on that, it said who? I know that you are. I know that you're selling something that is going to really help and it's going to revolutionize your customer's world. So what does your innovation challenge? What does your innovation challenge? Type in the chat. What does your particular innovation challenge? What's the enemy of the story that you and your customer both have in common that you need to challenge? So think about what Salesforce.com did, multi-billion-dollar company, but they weren't back in 2011 and they led a rebellion against software. Do you remember this? I got gray hair. I remember when Salesforce did this. Type in the chat. Do you remember when Salesforce did this? They led a movement against software. And that's what the movement was against, a movement away from software. So Salesforce, no more software. HubSpot, they did a movement back in 2015, multi-billion-dollar company, inbound marketing. DocuSign, end agreement chaos. So the old way to pitch was to make claims about how great your product was and why we're the best. Okay. But the new way is to have the voice of the rebel leader, to lead a movement, to encourage your ideal customers to make a change, and to talk about why the old way is dead. It will lead to ruin, and how winning organizations today are playing a new game. Now, type in the chat, what are you rebelling against? What's your contrarian ideology? What change does your innovation require? Type in the chat. Anya, competing with large corporations, challenging the quality of internal systems. Love that. Ali, following someone else's script or playbook. Love it. Kevin, competition and customer acquisition. I'm not sure I follow that. Is that your contrarian ideology? Lisa, I'm rebelling against the sleazy salesperson. Oh my gosh, I hate the sleazy salesperson. Thumbs down. We hate that. We're done with that. That's so 2010s. It's done. Most buyers actually make up their mind before they talk to a salesperson. That's why your new sales presentation has to be your homepage. We're going to be talking about that. Programming, go no code. You're rebelling against coding. Love that. Companies still do it. Yeah. So Simon Sinek, love the guy. In order to stand out, we have to know what we stand for. You have to know what you're telling people to stop. So type in the chat, what are you telling your people? What should you be telling your people on your homepage, in your sales conversations? They need to stop doing. Just stop it. Type it in the chat. What should they stop doing? This is your common enemy between you and your customer. What should they start doing? And to start doing shouldn't just be buy your product. Come on, people. It's your customers aren't really buying your product. What are they buying? Type it in the chat. You will make this shift if you can type in the chat. What is your customer really buying? Type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. What are you telling people to stop doing? Stop coding. Love that. Stop wasting money on social media. Google ads that don't work. Start telling your brand story and get them in front of ITDMs. I don't know what ITDMs mean, but that sounds cool. Stop demanding. Very good work, people. Love you guys. Okay, my clients are buying freedom. Start what? So, what are people really buying? All right. So this is the key. So it's not start buying a product, it's start taking a new approach, the approach that your product helps them take, or the outcomes or the results that your product or solution infers. Is this making sense? So look at what Tiled is doing. If it's not interactive, it's not working. This is the rebellion against non-interactive or static content. Or Cognition, they're rebelling against spreadsheets, the death of spreadsheets. Stop working with spreadsheets. They're talking about connected information, which is the outcome or the results of what Cognition is selling. They're not saying, hello, buy our product. So stop with the hype marketing. This is our message to you and to our customers. Stop the brag marketing. Stop the hype marketing. Lead a movement instead. The people who aren't enrolled in the journey that you're taking them to, they're going to ignore you. And guess what? That's great news. Sales is an act of leadership. If you believe this, give me a one in the chat. If sales is an act of leadership, I believe this is true. And you need to lead a movement to help your customers make the change. So lead an uprising, lead a frickin' rebellion. Take the gloves off and get fired up about your common enemy. Get clear of what that common enemy is. And that's typically the status quo. What does the status quo look like in your customer's world? Is this beginning to make sense? What your TED Talk would be about? A world where that enemy is vanquished. Okay, type in the chat. Does this make sense? Okay, does this make sense what we're talking about? Does this make sense? Look what Airbnb, live anywhere, live anywhere. They don't really mean that you should be able to live anywhere. I mean, come on. But this is the aspiration of what happens. What the brand they're trying to create is a story that people with their product can live anywhere. I get it. So about hashtags is the revelation or the revealing of your buyer's mission statement. This is the movement, the rebellion that you're teaching. Teaching. You're helping your customers, coaching to get to. So if you type in the chat here what your hashtag is, and most hashtags are terrible. They're terrible because it's all about your product. It's all about your solution. But what do all of these hashtags from companies like from the Wall Street Journal to Nike to Apollo, what are all these hashtags have in common? Come on, you can look, you can see what do they all have in common? Type in the chat. I'm forcing you guys in this first shift to really get clear on what you need to do. All right, what you need to do. They are on them. It's what are they? Come on, you can do this. Intelligence delivered. That's not anything that may be your hashtag now, but that's about you. It's not about your customer, Vegeta. I'm sorry. Live younger. I like that because that starts with a verb and it is a call to action. Sell internationally. That's good. Sell starts with a verb. It's their mission. It's not yours. So lead a rebellion and it's telltale with this. So go global. Yeah, so that sounds good, but you really have to see the context of your business if it makes sense. But all of these are starting with an action, and it's a positive action, a positive picture of what the world looks like, your customer's world. So look at Zoom Info, hit your number. They sell data for crying out loud. But hit your number is a great call. Starts with a verb, it's a battle cry. Want to call out a great book by Dr. Michelle Mazur called The Three-Word Rebellion, and it is about this buyer's mission statement. All right, so marketing is about action, people. Most marketers don't know this because most marketers haven't sold a damn thing in their life. It's not about hype. And that's why the ChatGPT results you're getting today suck, is because it's been trained on billions of words from old school marketing. So what's your hashtag? If you know it, type it in the chat. Save 500 million, maybe. Enlightened strategic thinking, maybe. I don't know the context. Jeff Aronson, before he made these shifts, CEO of a health tech company, confusing marketing content, pipeline thin, letting key partners down, losing deals to no decision. This is their shitty website before. Nothing wrong with the design, people, but the story, the messaging, the prospect engagement was terrible. Like, what does this even mean? Expensive clinical equipment. Like, come on. After he made these shifts, tripled revenue, confidence in marketing spend, partners are selling. So grateful that the business is materializing. This is the after of your after effect. Find your path. Oh, I love that. Really good. Good, good. So you're getting the hang of it, that the first shift is to lead a movement and it's about your buyer's end goal. So this is the after effect here. This is a really great way to talk about the old way versus the new way. And this is a wonderful design where hovering over these will reveal what the impact is by taking the new way. Beautiful, beautiful design. So if this is making sense, that the first shift you need to make is to lead a movement instead of selling your amazing product, type in the chat, makes sense. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. Makes sense if you're getting this first shift. Okay. Kevin, Ali, Christy, um, okay, increased productivity, combat labor. So I would say that your hashtag has to be super specific, much more crunchy and detailed. Like, look at some of those other ones I had in the screen. They were really very specific. The more specific you can do it, have that buyer's mission statement, the better. All right, let's get to the second. So, if you offer to meet with me and discuss with qualified CEOs, should be on the offer link at the top next to the chat. You should see that. Where's my mouse? Did I just lose my mouse? Yeah, I did. Oh, there it is. It should be in the offer section. You click on that and you can see my name. All right. So Trisha Glick, she is a CEO of another health tech company, and she has actually tripled sales because of the messaging that they're using. And don't tell me that words don't matter, because they totally do. In fact, you're going to see a great example of that here. All right, Warren. So before Warren made these shifts, a stagnant growth, good salespeople were leaving. Value of the innovation was just not getting across, missing forecasts. He went from 137 customers to almost 3,000 in 12 months through brand messaging makeover, website revamp, and also using a trained GPT, which we're going to show you hint, hint in shift number 5. So same thing with Manish, missing targets, bootstrap with limited runway, couldn't invest in product without more customers. After the shifts were made, grown exponentially since 2022. All right, next shift number 2, start with the problem. So why not start with your solution? Type in the chat, why is it a bad thing to start with your solution? And most websites do this. Most websites, homepages, sales presentations, social media posts are about the product, why the product is so great and why you should buy it, why you should care. But this is an example. So what do you see from this? Do you see your company's logo here? By the way, this is the marketing technology landscape. But if you look at the AI enabled market landscape, it's even worse than this. So first of all, AI enabled is stupid. Any company that says their product is AI enabled or AI powered is off base right now, because every product is going to be AI enabled by 2025. And so it's not a competitive differentiator. What is focusing on the problem. And that's the second shift. So where's Waldo? Where is your solution? Why doesn't starting with your solution work anymore? Type in the chat. Why doesn't talking about your solution, starting with your solution, work anymore? Why? Type in the chat. Why doesn't it work? Where's your solution? Why doesn't this work? Yeah. So it's just noise. It's just noise. That's why it doesn't work. It's all just noise. And people are twice as likely to buy something to relieve pain than to gain something. Let me say this again. Your customers are 2 times more likely to buy what you're selling if they believe that what you're selling is going to relieve pain than for them to gain something. So if you're selling a solution, if you're focused on products and features, that's the wrong approach. It's not the shift that you need to make. You need to start with the problem, because starting with solution doesn't answer these questions. Why someone should change, why should they change now, and why should they change with you? The old way of pitching is starting with solution. We help companies do the blah, blah, blah. We help organizations do this awesome thing. That's the old way. The new way is starting with the problem. We help companies who are struggling with, or frustrated with, or fill in the blank, that are struggling with, frustrated with. That's a pitch that's starting with the problem. Does this begin to make sense to you? Type in the chat. Great. I don't sell. I'm a guide. I'm the sole focus. I love that, Lisa. Absolutely. That's the great way to sell. That's grounded in this. So this is a diagram. So you all read Crossing the Chasm. Type in yes in the chat if you read Crossing the Chasm. So my book, Starting with the Problem, is really about this curve. It's turning the chasm curve upside down and looking at your customers' risk of changing versus their risk of doing nothing. So there are going to be people who you need to ignore, and they're going to ignore you and your innovation. There are going to be people you need to educate, people you need to influence, and people you need to encourage. And the people you need to encourage are the people who already recognize that the risks to their businesses, to their people, to their organization is greater for them if they do nothing. Nothing. Zero, zilch. If I get excited here, it's because these are the people you need to focus on selling to, where the risk of doing nothing is greater than the risk of changing. This is so important. And this is tied to starting with the problem, because when you start with the problem, you're going to magnetically attract the people who already believe or are thinking about the risks of doing nothing. So here's a really shitty website from a top accounting firm in Atlanta, accounting for the pace of change. Cute, maybe clever. It means nothing. The after is get the right technology, get the right forensic advice, get the right accounting advice. That's what their customers want. And that's when they want to save money, they want to make money, and they want to mitigate risk. So that's starting with the problem. Type in the comments, what's the number one problem that you solve? Come on, work with me here. I want to feel in my heart in this masterclass that you have got what starting with the problem really means. Type in the chat. I'm not sure I agree with you about selling the problem. Listening. Okay, great, Anya, no problem. Type in the chat, what's the number one problem you solve? Come on, Anya, you can do it. Reducing pain and inflammation. I got bad news for you, Kevin. Take pain of cross-border. I don't know what that means, Amar. Take pain. I can take pain all day. So let me just say, Kevin, reduce pain and inflammation is a goal. That's a future state. That is not a current problem. I'm sorry, Kevin. We're going to fail you on that. You have not made the shift. Labor shortage, that is a problem. Driving economic mobility through skills first hiring. Christy, I'm failing you on that. You have not made the shift, Christy. I'm sorry. But that is a goal. That's a future state your customers want to get to, but that's not a current state problem they're experiencing. So this is actually really hard. I see this over and over again, that even business leaders like you are so excited about solving the problem and starting with the solution that you forget that in order to start with the problem, you need to put the problem first. Start with the problem, not your solution. So give it another shot if you can. What's the number one problem you solve? This should be like a shocking thing for you, Christine, and I hope it is, that you and also Kevin, that you answered this question with a goal, not a problem, because this is an important shift. Because if you can make this shift, it's going to come through in all of your messaging, every email you send, your messaging, your marketing, the CMO that you hire, the social media posts, everything that you do in your business will shift if you can make this shift. So, yep, I asked what they're doing now, what failed, what worked. I always start with where they are. But Lisa, type in the chat, what's the number one problem that you solve? Let's see that. You should know that. You shouldn't ask people what their problem is. You should know, you should be able to describe your customer's problem better than they can even describe it themselves. Because nobody really cares about your why or your company or your product. What do your customers really care about? So if you can describe their problem better than they can, they'll automatically believe that you have the best solution. And that is 100% true. If you get anything from this masterclass today, take a screenshot of this if you want to. This is so powerful. Describing their problem because you built your innovation, because you should understand their problems better than they do, better than all of your customers do. So you need to know this and describe that problem beautifully, clearly, in a way that like they're like, holy smackers, you nailed it. You really understand our problem. And that establishes your authority. That establishes your business, your brand credibility, much better than logos or anything else. All right. So this is beginning to make sense. Type in the chat, makes sense. Second shift, start with the problem. Look at this beautiful from ReadyWorks Health. Patients before paper. They have started with the problem instead of the solution. They started with a mission to help doctors and nurses in hospitals put aside the paper and spend more time with patients by using their product or innovation, which is turning paper checklists into smart forms. They're selling smart forms. So if this is making sense, type in the chat, give me a thumbs up in the chat if that's even possible. Makes sense. Anya, Anthony, give me a make sense if you are with me. I hope this wasn't too shocking, too startling for you, but I want you to really get this because you are not going to succeed in your business, in marketing, or in selling if in a market that's flooded with solutions, if you're leading with a solution. So Sam, Christy, wow, you got thumbs up from everybody. Wonderful. This makes sense. Let's talk about why this is so hard. So marketers you hire, even CMOs you hire today, many that are playing by old playbooks, they're just going to market the shit out of it and make you feel really great about your solution. But there are blind spots. They're not going to take your customers or your prospects opposing view. And they're going to spend a lot of money on bad websites. I know a lot of venture-backed US companies have failed in 2023. I saw 3,200 of them. And there's an innovation graveyard. So it's not about your product being great. It's about how clearly you can tell the story. The best salesperson won't save you if you hire a really great salesperson. I know this for a fact. They are going to quit or leave if they're not getting supported by the right narrative, the right story. Your fancy GPT prompts aren't going to save you either because it's trained on marketing from 2015. All right, so let's get to the third shift. Make your customer the hero. Now, I know you've heard this before. Oh, yeah, let's make our customer the hero. But let's be honest, people. Let's be honest. Ali, Vicha, Krista, Sam, Vegeta, Beth, Amar, Kevin, Anthony, and who else is here? We've got hiding in the back of the room here, drinking beer, Mike, Kent, Tim, Naomi, and Beth. Come on, guys. What is your marketing in love with? What is it in love with? Be honest. Come on, we can all share here and be honest. What's it in love with? Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all? Come on, people, type in the chat. You know, we all know that we should make our customers the hero instead. We all know this. Every CEO, every business leader knows this, but so few people actually know how to do it. Even marketers say they can do that, they know how to do it, but the reality is they have no freaking idea on how. And you can tell right away. You go to a homepage, and if it's in love with your precious innovation, or if it's in love with your customers' problems and their goals, you can tell right away. So if your customer is the hero of the story, what does that make you? Type it in the chat. Sam, I get you. I feel you, Sam. I feel you. I all the love for Sam. What does that make you? Lisa, the cheerleader, the guide. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. What does that make you? And what is that? What is it? If you need to be the cheerleader or the guide or the trusted advisor, who's the enemy of the story? Let's use the hero journey. If they're the hero of the story and you're the guide, who's the enemy of the story? Type in the chat. Do you know who the enemy is? The villain of the story. Who's the villain? Type in the chat. Come on, Lisa. A villain is not their problem. Nope, that's not the villain of the story. Their competition is not the villain of the story. No, it may be your competition, but it's common. It's the common enemy between the guide and the hero. Yes, it's pretty much inaction, doing nothing is the villain of the story. That's right. You nailed it. So the old way is saying we are the hero, we're the best, buy our solution. Come on, you can do it. But the new way, the voice of your marketing, and this is what you can train a GPT to do, is how we make you better. So look at a really shitty website here, and it's shitty not just because the design is terrible, but it doesn't mean anything. It's making them the hero, creating a better world for tomorrow. We're doing that because we're the best. We're the best. We're using AI. Oh my gosh, AI. Everyone's using AI, so nobody cares. Look at the after they made this shift, making their customer the hero. Give doctors superpowers. Bring emotional AI to patient encounters. This is a telemedicine clinical decision support system, and it makes so much sense now. It's about tapping into the emotional AI that is there and giving doctors the ability to to know what's happening with their patients better. Turn virtual patient checkups into deeply insightful interactions. So if you look at the before, did you get that from this? No, you did get that from this. It's actually hard to do because if you think about what you're selling the ability, the capability to help your customer go from their current situation to where they want to go. They're not really buying your product. They're not really buying your solution. What are you really selling? If you type in the right answer here, I will feel in my heart that you have made the third shift. What are they really buying? Come on, guys, type in the chat. What are they really buying? You can do this. Well, the future vision is one that they have, even you help them create that vision, but it's their vision. Yes, Ali, I like where you're headed there. Yes, the journey and the outcome, the transformation. Yes, you're helping them change. That's what you are selling, the ability to help them change. Now, isn't this a freaking massive shift? Like, oh my gosh, how many CEOs and leaders that you talk to have made this shift? Very few. Very few have done this, but the ones that have are crushing it with their innovation. They are crushing it because it is magnetically charging their ideal customers to kick down the door because they get that this innovation, this company, which is you, understands their problem and is going to help them change. It is going to focus on the people who the risk of doing nothing is greater than the risk of changing. And it's educating, influencing, and encouraging people to make that shift. So if you involve yourself through your story, through your marketing, through your messaging, through your sales presentations, through your emails, through your lead magnets, through your webinars, that you are involving your customers in the story of change, you are going to win. So you can snapshot this if you want to book that free um, messaging and sales enablement assessment with me, the CEO of Pitch Kitchen, and my team. Book your session now and you can capture that. There's only 5 of these sessions. I think I talked about Patricia earlier, so we won't go into her now, but I think she did have this awesome uh, post. She posted this on LinkedIn, and where she threw out there the idea of what her customers should stop doing and what they need to start doing. And she sent me an email saying within 15 minutes of posting that, she booked a COO meeting of a massive deal, and so grateful. So if making your customer the hero makes sense to you and you're beginning to make this shift, type in the chat, makes sense. Hey, what's going on? Fernando is in the house, a little late, but better late than never. A cure for their pain. Yeah, so I believe that you're not really selling a cure for their pain. You're selling a transformation. You're selling them to make a shift. So quick take suggestions on your homepage. So if you want me in the session at the end, once I do the giveaways and once we talk, I'm happy to do a quick like what's going on your website? What's like what do I get in 9 seconds from looking at it and give you some suggestions that has informed what the GPT magnetic messaging framework that I trained has. I'm happy to do that in the session. So type in your URL and we'll get to that at the end. If not, no problem. I promise to be nice, but not too nice because I'm sure you're here to get constructive criticism. All right. The fourth shift that you need to make is name your category. Name your category. So what do I mean by that? This is a shift that the winning companies have made. So look, since 1990s, you got the telephone, 2000s the mobile phone, 2010s the smartphone, and who knows what's coming in the 2020s, but it probably will have phone in the name. So what's the point here? It's typically a prefix. So look at Apple did with their Apple headsets, whether it's a success or failure, doesn't matter. They created a category called spatial computing, where they put the prefix of spatial in front of computing. Comfort ownership. So instead of equipment ownership, they are selling comfort ownership, which is, hey, you don't have to buy your air conditioner. You just buy the use of it, kind of like your mobile phone. Anyway, this is a new category they are selling. So category creation is absolutely something you can do, you should do, especially if you're selling an innovation. I love this quote from Warren Buffett. How do you beat Bobby Fischer? You play him at any game but chess, and the game that you want to play is the game you create. So look what ReadyWorks Health did. They created a category called smart forms. And Clipper, video intelligence versus just video libraries. Cognition, information driven versus document driven is the new way. Intelligent recovery instead of just backup and recovery. So you get the drift here. A CCO instead of a PPO, healthcare organization, plays on that, but it's more collaborative care. Without going into details, you can see so many companies that have crushed it in the last 5 years have done so by making this shift. They have created a category, which is pretty much a prefix or a word in front of an existing category that separates them from their competition. So if you have already done this, type in the chat what your new category is. What is your unique category? Would love to see what you've got. So this is the fourth shift, name your category. And now we are getting into the fifth shift. And by the way, does it make sense how naming your category will help you cut through the noise in your industry? So global shipping, I don't know if that's a new category. That sounds like pretty much a category that's been around Amar for uh, global shipping, maybe 100 years. Health optimization, that's interesting. Maybe it is. So health optimization sounds more like a benefit than a category. Strategic enterprise spreadsheet manager, that's like one, two, three, 4 words. I'm not sure. It's pretty much a long category. A category is typically 2 words, three at the most. All right. So now we're getting to the secret weapon, and this is the 2029 tactic that I started this masterclass with. All right, really excited about this secret weapon to share with you because this is a total game changer. Um, all right, here it is. Do you have a core messaging framework document? So yes or no, type it in the chat. Do you have a core messaging framework document? Wonderful. If you started this, that's great. So many customers, so many people we've spoken to have not done this yet. They don't. They say they need one. Maybe they don't care. They never use it. But have you been disappointed by marketing content you get at ChatGPT? A lot of folks here have said they have. Prompts doesn't work. They don't work reliably. Prompting doesn't work because Hey GPT 2015 called. They want their lingo back. And if you see the lingo, the marketing language you get out of GPT, it's filled with like delve and realm and bespoke and robust and harness and seamless and all of this bullshit 20 marketing lingo that people's brains go to sleep on. It doesn't work anymore because this is what it's been trained on. So how do you fix this? So GPT is like an apprentice marketer that's been trained on billions of marketing words that don't work. So the secret weapon is to get AI to become your solution expert in your brand voice. This is the 2029 sales tactic that every company will be using by 2029. I want you guys to be using it right now. And that is this. The secret weapon is a fractional CMO who will unlock 1 year of strategic marketing and growth in 90 days at a fraction of the cost. That will do three things. One, refine your story through expert facilitated interviews of leadership and customers using the most effective marketing frameworks. Transform your homepage, your sales deck, marketing messaging to be problem centric and compelling, and use the finished framework to pre-train your custom GPT that you own it, it's in your account, your OpenAI account, that's generating oodles of 100% on-brand content, your co-intelligent marketer that can replace your marketer or some copywriter on your team that every salesperson could use for writing email, your PR person could use, everybody in your team could be using this every day of the week, 24/7, to produce tons of content from white papers to webinars. And that's what they would get at the end. This you would own it. It would be free forever for you to use, I guess, using OpenAI. So this is the sales enablement ladder. And what you'll see here is month 2. That's when you get this training of the GPT. But that only happens after what happens is the assessment, the validation interviews, the messaging frameworks are created. So if you don't have that messaging framework, if you haven't really answered these questions and made these shifts about what are you really selling, what's the number one problem that you're dealing with, that your customers are trying to overcome, who's the villain of the story, what is their current problem as it relates to this, what's the impact if they don't change, what do they want, who are they, all of these questions. And if you can train the GPT on answers to all of these questions, you'll essentially have a document like this that you will train GPT on. This is like a 15-page document, and section by section that trains the GPT on how to write, what the position is, and it could even contain FAQs about your product, your solution, including profiles of your ideal customer, so that when you finally prompt it, you finally have a lazy prompt, you'll essentially have a co-intelligent marketing engine that will create an absolute torrent of 100% on-brand content. And I can pop out of this and I can show you real quick in GPT. I'm just going to go to chat GPT real quick just to show you how amazing this is. I'm going to go here to, could you hear me? Okay, I got a message that you can't hear me. Type in the chat. Can you hear me? So you can see here my GPTs. These are GPTs that I created, that my team and I created for our customers, but we basically train our customers to create their own GPTs. And like this is the GPT for Expedition. So Expedition, this GPT, I'm going to just go to edit. You can see there's instructions on what it should be, how it should write. There's an uploaded file, a PDF of the magnetic messaging framework that we write from all that facilitated interviews. So I could lazy say, yo, write me a blog. Look how I got spelling errors here. Write me a blog about some good stuff about our new Leo product. Okay, so like, boom. Look at that. So it's writing it with a shitty, lazy prompt because it's been trained on how to write it. It's an expert marketer on the product. So if this is making sense to you, I can have it write webinar structures, presentations, emails. It has been trained on what words not to use, what words to use effectively. Type in the chat if this is making sense to you of what you can get. All right, so that's what we call co-intelligent marketing. And I love this little picture here, that meme, your company, your marketer, GPT trains on your solutions. Very few, like zero CMOs today are doing this. They're threatened by GPTs. They don't know how to use GPTs. They're think that maybe they're going to retire soon. They're going to quit. I don't know what most CMOs are going to do, but the world has changed. In 2029, I guarantee you, every company is going to have their own GPT or something like it that is going to write content for them, but only if it's been trained right. Otherwise, it's going to come out to be relatively bland. So when you're inside the box, it's hard to see how customers see you, and that's why the secret weapon is really this fractional CMO model. So Masood, frustrated before, he's a CEO of a tech company, which his team was doing 30 demos to one sale. Can you believe that? Large sale team turnover. They weren't selling, anxious about limited runway. This was their before website here. Kubernetes application resilience start here, clearly making themselves the hero of the story. Afterwards was about getting intelligent recovery, which all their customers want to get. Very successful. The after effect tripled their at bats, doubled their win rate, new salespeople. So this has happened for many of our customers. No guarantees that this is going to happen to you, but if you make these shifts, even on your own, it really should. I like to say turn your website into a conversion site because your websites in the old days has been more about brochureware instead of making it more of a conversion site. So this is the magnetic messaging framework, and you can see you're going to get this as a download at the end of this. You're going to see section by section what needs to be on your website to help people with what I call the building blocks for buy-in. As they scroll in 9 seconds, what are you selling? Who are you selling this to? What do you want me to do? Thank you, Lisa. Welcome, welcome for coming. Thank you for coming. So these are some examples of great websites that are using this magnetic messaging framework, and you can too. This is a great section, the new SEO. The old SEO has gone away, where the new SEO is using AI, which is much more problem centric. In the words of your customers, since AI is always listening, from Alexa to Google Home to Siri, Apple Intelligence, it's going to be listening to the problems that people are having in their business. And you need to have those words in your customers' words on your website. That needs to be there. So your call to action can't be the old tried and true, learn more, get started, BS, passive calls to action. They need to be very specific of what value, call to value they'll get from a meeting with you or from taking the next step. You need to have a 3-step plan. You need to have a booking form if it is more than a 50K deal. So you're going to get the magnetic messaging framework from this masterclass. I think your presentation needs to be a set of conversations. You need to have sales reps who don't just go to customers who say, yeah, we have a problem, and then great, here's our solution. Please sit down, shut up, let me show you our 19 slides. Good sales reps are talking about, why do you want to have this fixed? What are the challenges in your business or the ripple effects if you do not fix this problem? And those are around having the right conversations. This is a beautiful 3-part sales deck, and within each 3 parts, you'll see it has 3 or 4 conversations, and you're going to get that as a giveaway of what your best sales presentation should be. So just to recap, the secret weapon is a fractional CMO who will unlock 1 year of strategic marketing and growth in 90 days at a fraction of the cost. This is the secret weapon. Who will refine your story, who will transform your marketing, including maybe even creating webinars and thought leadership content for you, as well as deliver to you a polished, finished, pre-trained custom GPT that is having you and your team use 24/7 for free to generate oodles of, and I invented that word, by the way, oodles, I love that word, oodles, of 100% on-brand content as your co-intelligent marketer. Okay, so here's what I promised. I promised to talk to you about how to nail your sales message, how to turn your homepage into a home run, why it's game over for most marketing playbooks, how to attract ideal customers into buying conversations, and how to use AI to create a torrent of on-brand content. So these are the things, the shift that you need to make, what you need to make to win. You need to lead a movement. You need to start with the problem, not your solution. Make the customer the hero and focus on overcoming the villain of the story, which is typically the status quo. You need to name your category with a prefix over the existing category name so people put you in context, they understand what you're doing, and use the secret weapon. So I would say now you have a choice. You have a choice. You can go it alone, and I want you to be successful, or you can get the expert help that will get you there faster. So if you snap with this QR code, you can book time with me to get a personalized sales and marketing gap assessment, to get recommendations, and to get a game plan to getting this done. I've set aside 45-minute Zoom calls for the folks in this masterclass. This is the pitch. Put your helmet on. It won't be too hard, but that's it. It's absolutely free. I'm not selling you anything, but you have to qualify. And qualify means we'll talk about that in a second. But giveaway time. Let me give to you the 16-part magnetic messaging framework. And I'm going to put that up on the screen now. So you should see in the upper right-hand corner the handout, and that's a PDF document, which is the 16-part magnetic messaging framework, step by step, what you should really evaluate your website with against. The 12 sales conversations that open minds and close deals. And this is going to be a link that I'm going to put in the chat. And this is the link, and I'm going to put this in the chat now to you. And the third thing is the GPT, the free GPT that you could use to evaluate your prospect engagement on your homepage. So here is the link to the GPT. It's also free. You can just click that. And as of 2 weeks ago, GPT-4o has made this free. And it'll give you a really good summary of what's good, what's bad, what can be improved. And I'll do some of that live here, but I've trained the GPT to basically look at the site as if I were to do it based on what we've seen works and what doesn't work. All right, so that's the giveaway time. Let's get over to some of the challenges here. If you don't hire an outside expert like a fractional CMO that we're talking about, you're going to struggle to do this alone. Your marketers aren't paid to take an opposing view. They're not going to challenge you. They're just going to deliver happy marketing that you're going to like because it makes you and your product sound great, but it's not going to turn into sales. You're going to go back and forth with your team on good opinions, but you won't know what works. You will likely be using proven, you won't be using proven positioning frameworks. You're going to be stuck in a solution-driven idea pool about your solution, not the problem. You're going to be stuck with a lot of inside baseball language that you sort of can't see anymore because you've been in there. You're too close to it. You're going to continue to waste money on marketing that doesn't work. That's the link. I would encourage you to do this, take advantage of this conversation. It is free. So I would say don't hire a marketer. Most marketers haven't sold a thing in their lives. Hire a sales enabler. And I think the CMOs today, most of them, their tenure is about 14 months before they're fired or they leave, because it's just the whole CMO position is being thrown into question with the advent of training a GPT. We're seeing after the 90 days that we deliver that, our clients essentially handle that with a project manager or a marketing manager at a much lower cost because they have the positioning, they have the copywriting ability with artificial intelligence. So I would say do not book if you don't have a viable product with happy customers. So this is unqualified. So please, if you have a hope for a product, but you don't really have a product or solution, it's not viable, please do not book because this doesn't work. It doesn't work well with me. I want to make sure I'm helping uh, customers succeed. And if you don't have a viable product, they're going to fail. If you aren't committed to your vision, don't book. If you are okay with your business as, don't book because I don't like to spend my time. I have limited time on CEOs that actually have the time and money to get their business where they want to go. And if you're not challenging the status quo, if you're just selling another minivan, so to speak, I'm not. This is not for useful for you. It's only if you are bringing an innovation to your customers. If you are challenging the status quo with your approach, this is for you. If it's not, do not book. If you can't or invest time or money in your business, do not book. I like to say success loves speed and action. I would encourage you to book this call so we can have this conversation and see how we can get you a game plan to get this done. All right, so Anya, thank you. We booked. That's great. Awesome, awesome. I saw some website links here, and let's spend some time doing that. In the offer section, you should be able to click on booking your session if you want that. So I'm taking the QR code off the screen, and let's go over to a few websites. So who's here? Type in your website that you want me to look at right now, and we'll do a live chat on what we see there. And I'll look at it like, okay, I'm a potential customer, maybe coming to your site, or maybe does it pass the mother test? Meaning, does your mother know what you're selling? or not. So type in the chat. Let's go to US cryotherapy. I'm going to just click on that link and go there. All right, so I'm putting this on the screen. Do you see my screen? I think you do. Industry leader, nitrogen-free whole body cryotherapy. So first of all, I would love to do cryotherapy myself. The fact that you're saying you're industry leader, I would say right off the bat, if any company that says they're an industry leader or they say they're world class, immediately cast doubt in my mind that they're not world class, that they're not an industry leader, that they're just saying that because they're trying to fool me, and this is like pushy sales tactics. So I'm getting immediate like repel from that. Forget the design for a minute. I'm just going to look past bad design because I see some bad design here. I'm just looking at the messaging. Find a look. Why would I find a location near you? This is only if I'm looking to buy cryotherapy. But why should I? Why should I care? Uh, who am I today versus who do I want to be? I'm not seeing any of that here. So I'm going to move on because this doesn't answer a lot of my questions about why I should do this. So let's go on to the next site. Let's do to wisdom and Wisdom. And so take a look at the magnetic messaging framework. You'll see you're missing about 9 of the 12 conversations. So find your path to grow and profitability. Find your path to growth and profitability. Wisdom and Wayfinder. Book a clarity call. So it looks like a services you're selling. And so this is very aspirational. I don't know what you're selling. Clarity, organization, accountability. I see a lot of words here, but it's so high level. Okay, I like this because it says, okay, I'll book a call, I'll get a clear path and celebrate. So I do like this. That's great. Um, so book a call. If I click this, what do I get? Yes, I get a booking form. I'd put that actually on the homepage. I wouldn't have that as a separate link. So I'm missing a few sections here. I'm missing credibility. I'm missing authority. I'm also missing that you understand my problem. It says you find yourself struggling with clarity, organization, accountability. These are goals, but these aren't problems. Being clear about the problems you solve and the clients you work with is a description of a future state, but it's not describing my problem. So you haven't started with the problem here. It's about future goals, but not problem focused. All right, let's go to ship and this is a Mars site here. Oh, so credibility right off the bat. You shine the Inc. 5000 there. Great. 30 years. Wonderful. Says a third party. Our services. You do global shipping. That's great. What's new? What do you want me to do? I don't know what I want me to do here. You want me to read more? I'm not going to click that. I don't need to read more. So it's missing a call to action. It's missing a process, a 3-step process. It's missing you've got credibility. It's missing who this is for. Is this for the Fortune 10 companies, Fortune 1000, small, medium-sized businesses, for retailers? I don't know who this is for. So is this for me, your ideal customer? I don't know. I don't know who this is for. So, you know, is parting your messaging, you need to really dial into who your ideal customer is. And that is something you haven't done yet. So singular security. Oh, it looks like you put the wrong URL. Sorry, I was critiquing the wrong site. Singular security. Your security is our singular focus. Trademark. Oh my gosh, really? Really? Come on. And what's with the zeros and ones? I mean, this is so 1990s. And I'm not just saying this because I'm from New York. Dude, this is 1990s design. Come on. Your security is our singular focus. So, oh, you're being cute. I have no idea what you sell. Do you sell like cybersecurity services? Do you sell products? So you're all with the trademark. You don't need to do that. I don't know what you're selling. So I don't know who you're selling this to. I don't like the learn more passive call to action. I need to see what am I going to get from your company? Who are you selling to? What problem are you solving? Be singular ready sounds cute, sounds clever. It's not clear what you're selling, what you're offering, why I should care, what problem you're solving. So you got to do a lot of work on here. And I promise you, if you do that work, you're going to get a lot more business because your sales presentation really should be your homepage so that your salespeople don't have to like do all that heavy lifting. in the sales conversation because you want your customers, your prospects showing up really clear about what it is that you can help them with. All right, so we are at time. We're like an hour and 15 minutes in. I love you guys. I want you to be wildly successful. And if I were you, I would take advantage of booking this time with me if you're serious about getting to the growth that you should be getting to this year, not waiting for another year, and not waiting till 2029 when everyone will be doing this approach, this secret weapon approach, where most companies are going to have a fractional CMO by that time. Most companies are going to be having a trained AI agent. GPT-5 is coming out in September, and it'll be all about AI agents. And one of them will be a marketer, only if you train it right. Apple Intelligence is already coming out in September as well. The world has shifted, the game has changed. Most companies, most CMOs are not, they're behind the eight ball. And I don't want you to be behind the eight ball. I want you to succeed. I am in business to help CEOs and business leaders like you um, dial into and attract their customers so that they can help, you can help your customers thrive and succeed in this new world. And that's why I'm in business. That's why you're in business, and that's why you should book a call with me. Anyway, that was my sales pitch. I hope it wasn't too harsh. I hope you got value from this session, and I hope that you take action in making these shifts in your business. I hope this is helpful to you. I want you guys to be wildly successful. I want your business to grow like wildflowers, and I want you to keep on rocking in the free world. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you guys soon. Take care. Thank you so much. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Fernando, Anya, Ali, Kevin, Barry. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Tim, take care, guys. Sam, thank you.